I could have done a lot of things. Like, I was so involved in sports. Could have dedicated my life to, the family, my family, that was so important to me. But I wouldn't have found the peace and contentment that I feel now, in that I was called to be a priest, and I followed that call. That's the way I feel about it, yeah?
I always thought I was going to be a business person. That's what I went into. So, I had no idea what discernment really was. I just assumed that's what you do. You get a job and you go pay your bills and you start a family. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you. There was always that longing for something more. Amen. Our Lady of Victory, pray for us. This feeling I had on the inside that there was called to do something else. That's when I really started to develop a relationship with the church. Just staying close to the sacraments and the Eucharist. And that's what kind of led me to feel the call for the priesthood for the first time.
A relationship with God is part of life. Whatever it is that you are consecrating or giving your life to, a relationship with God has to be present there. Because it's faith that builds our nature, and that's what makes us fully alive.
That is my reward each day, the celebration of the Eucharist, which is who I am too. A man configuring himself to Jesus Christ himself and his ministry. Priest that baptized me, the man who gave me instructions in the Catholic faith and coincidentally became my first pastor after I was ordained, his priesthood was what I admired. My priesthood has not been like his. Since I'm not necessarily always visiting schools or spending a lot of time, as other priests would, in hospitals, nursing homes, is to make sure even my bureaucratic ministry is Christocentric. We all have our gifts, and so to try to articulate those, to be challenged, to let God move us in a direction sometimes we don't want to go or that we're uncomfortable with.
I was really challenged by a buddy who came to see me, one of my classmates. He said, "Who's ministering to the Hispanics?" I said, "Not me. I'm not going to do that." And then I just saw two churches that were not Catholic who had a church sign and a church band in the Spanish language. And I realized, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. I've got to learn Spanish. And the parish has to be a place of welcome for everybody.
What gets me excited is celebrating Mass, going to visit the sick and anointing them, the food pantry. In seminary, you always have what you hear about, like the priests run through into the burning building to anoint somebody. That's never happened to me. It's never happened. Like the little things, like in overcoming your own ego, overcoming your own tiredness. Those are heroic things.
You have ups and downs, and so sometimes when you hit down moments, and you feel the pain of being human and being alive, and even though you may experience faith, you in that pain you hear that call again from God saying, "I want you to use this experience to continue to draw others into me."
It wasn't my plan to enter seminary. It's hard to articulate what it feels like, but the sense of discover, something that you've not possible before. Maybe the task sometimes it can be overwhelming. But any life, whatever the vocation that you choose, I think always a challenge for you to be the best you can be.
We had a brother with Sacred Heart, and I heard him say to one of the teenagers in the parish one time, go to the mall, sit down in the middle of the mall. He says, now watch all these people who are walking up and down the mall. He said, what do you see when you see them? Do you see them bouncing off the ceiling? Are they all smiling? Are they all just filled with glee and joy? Most of those folks are married. Most of them have relationships. My brotherhood and father's priesthood or whatever, he said, we have some of the same challenges, some of the same joys. And he said, so you can do it. Believe me, you can do it.
I think growing up, we think priests just come off an assembly line. Just personally growing up in Prattville, all of our pastors were Irish. I remember thinking distinctly, I can't be a priest because I'm not Irish. And then I found out Monsignor Farmer, of course, was from Prattville, and now Father Greenwell has come from Prattville. And it's like, priests can come from just a normal town in Autauga County, Alabama, and the God who can work wonders through us as well. We come in different nationalities and different personalities, but all of this is what makes the presbyterate of the Archdiocese of Mobile who it is.
The Archdiocese is basically the central and southern half of the state, 27 counties. There's a great sense of our history and a great sense of our place, the land into which we live on, the culture to which we have participated in and contribute to.
The priest is a man, and he comes from the pews from behind me here. You're going to be called from that pew, and you're going to be challenged to die to yourself, to live every day for others.
If you don't just hold it in your own heart, you lift it back to God and give it to God. And I believe that is the center of our spirituality.
We want to belong to something. We want to be a part of something. It's easy to stay in what's comfortable. You have to sacrifice if you're going to do anything well.
I think God is calling. We're not always listening. A calling, that's where you put God in charge, and where He's leading us.
And maybe the most special work of all is being a priest, because we do things that nobody else can do. Not because we're perfect as priests, it's because we're ordained to be Christ for others.
I was born to be a priest. I can't see it, and I look back, and then that's what God called me to be, and I know He's there for me,